Discouraged black CEO exposed his amazing strength. $3.8 billion deal revealed as life-changing triumph. The sun dipped low over the Chicago skyline, casting long shadows down bustling streets, where dreams collided with reality. Marcus Jefferson, a determined black CEO, stood at the precipice of something monumental. Best friends since elementary school, the bustling streets where he grew up now buzzed with significance. This was it. A deal that could change everything. As he prepped for the final presentation, the weight of expectation crushed his chest. His mother, a retired schoolteacher, sacrificed everything for him. "You can't let them down, Marcus," she had said, her voice a soothing balm on a soul stretched thin. Memories flooded back, tiny kitchen tables littered with school books, her gentle reminders of resilience. But now, with their financial strains gnawing at him, he worried, was he losing touch with the very world he aimed to uplift? He saw the boardroom, filled with skeptical investors, their glances heavy, questioning his capabilities. It didn't matter that he had poured his heart and soul into this startup, fueled by a burning desire to give back to a community that had given him so much. As he paced back and forth, the vibrant streets where he forged his dreams felt more like a bittersweet reminder of the struggle that lingered just below the surface. He felt a tightness in his chest, a storm brewing inside. Doubt clawed its way in, mixed with anxiety and frustration. "Am I just a token in their eyes?" he pondered. Every time the investors glanced at him, the weight of history pressed down harder. He wasn't just fighting for himself, he was fighting for every person who believed in him, who had shared moments of joy and pain. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Then came betrayal. Days before signing, a partner he trusted turned on him, shaking the very foundation of everything he had built. He stared blankly, heart racing. Panic washed over him. What if I lose it all? Images of his mother's weary smile, always believing in him, filled his mind. Was this new tension going to tear them apart? What happened next felt like fate. A chance encounter with an old friend, now a community advocate, spun a spark within him. "It's not just about you, Marcus," she said, eyes fierce with conviction. "Real strength lies in helping others remember why you started." That hit hard. He realized it wasn't just personal success that counted. It was about lifting those around him. With renewed fire, Marcus stepped closer to that pivotal meeting. He knew he had to stand tall for his community, for those who believed in him. But as he reached for the conference room door, a question loomed ominously: could one man's triumph truly reshape the fate of a community? The answer lay just beyond those doors, waiting for him. The door swung open, and the gleaming boardroom unfolded before him. Bright fluorescent lights flickered above, illuminating the faces of the investors, their expressions a mix of curiosity and skepticism. Marcus took a deep breath, feeling the tension in the air like a thick fog. He stepped inside, channeling the strength he had found just moments ago. His heart raced, but he was ready. "Thank you all for being here today," he began, his voice steady. "I stand before you not just as a CEO, but as a representative of a community filled with potential, a community that deserves this chance." He could see the investors shifting in their seats, taking notes, but he pressed on. Marcus laid out his vision, painting a picture of innovation and empowerment. He embraced his own story, a reflection of resilience formed in the crucible of struggle, a kid from Chicago who transformed challenges into dreams. As he spoke, he felt the weight of his mother's sacrifices rallying behind him. Every late-night study session, every borrowed dollar, every ounce of faith she placed in him surged through his veins. The fire ignited within him, igniting a passion that lit the room. Our success doesn't just benefit us, he continued, urgency lacing his tone. It will drive change, create jobs, uplift families, and forge pathways for future leaders. Together, we can shift the narrative. This is about partnership. He captured their attention, their eyes turning from skepticism to intrigue. But then, one investor leaned forward, skepticism sharpening like a blade. Is this just another token endeavor to tick boxes, or is there real substance? What guarantees can you provide? His stomach dropped at the question, but a flood of clarity washed over him. This isn't a token project. This is life. It's about creating real opportunities, tangible outcomes. I've lived these challenges, Marcus asserted, leaning in a bit closer. I know what it's like to fight for every step. I won't let you down. The room fell silent. He felt their gazes bore into him, assessing, weighing his words. Was this enough? Would they see the potential, or would they walk away? Then, a glimmer of realization sparked in his heart. If this didn't work out, he still had his community, his roots to fall back on. There was power in knowing he was part of something bigger, something that transcended profitability. Just as he was gathering his thoughts, another question cut through the air like a sudden gust of wind. And what of the partner who left? It was the sharp voice of a woman from the corner, and he knew this wouldn't be easy. He hesitated, stash of emotions igniting. Betrayal is painful, but it also opens doors, Marcus replied, swallowing hard. I've learned that trust must be built on a foundation of shared values. That's what this project stands for. The momentum shifted. Her eyes flickered, not quite convinced but intrigued. The dialogue flowed, uncertainty mixing with curiosity as he deftly navigated each question, each doubt unraveling like a thread in a tapestry. Minutes felt like hours, but soon, the discussion transitioned. Ideas sprung up like wildflowers, collaborations, innovative practices, strategies. Each proposal felt like a piece falling into place. As the presentation drew to a close, Marcus knew he had said all he could. The room buzzed with conversation, and a flicker of hope sparked within him. But as the applause broke through, one thought echoed: what if they didn't understand the heart behind it all? The answer to a question was looming: could his vision endure against the backdrop of business? With bated breath, he awaited their final verdict. Would he reshape destinies or reveal shadows lurking in the truth behind the deal? As the investors deliberated, Marcus glanced at the floor-to-ceiling windows, the Chicago skyline shimmering against the evening sky. In that moment, he realized he was right where he belonged, fighting not just for his own dreams, but for every soul that walked the same streets he did. The meeting was about to conclude. He was ready to hear their decision: a leap toward hope or a dive into despair. Would it prove to be the ultimate triumph, or just another tough lesson learned? The room fell silent as the lead investor, a woman with sharp features and glasses that perched on her nose like a hawk surveying its territory, cleared her throat. Time stretched around Marcus as he braced for her verdict, every heartbeat thudding through his chest like a drum. We recognize the passion behind your vision, Marcus, she began slowly, her voice measured. But passion alone isn't enough to drive a multi-billion-dollar initiative. We need to see results. He held his breath, his stomach tightening. Results, it felt like the word echoed, looming over him like a threat. He understood the weight of it, the night spent holding his mother's hand, promising her he would make a difference. We appreciate the community aspect, another investor chimed in, crossing his arms. But how does this translate into financial returns? How can we trust it won't all fall through as it has before? Marcus took another deep breath, gathering the whirlwind of doubts swirling around him. You'll see it in the numbers, he replied earnestly, leaning into the moment. This isn't just a feel-good story. With strategic planning, outreach, and the right partnerships, we will be profitable. We can create a sustainable economic model that honors both our roots and your investment. The investors exchanged glances, the skepticism still lingering in their eyes, but a flicker of curiosity sparked in the air. He felt the urge to dig deeper, to connect with them on a level that surpassed spreadsheets or projections. "I know how this works," Marcus said, his voice rising above the tension. "And I also know how it feels when people walk away from your dreams. You're not just investing in a project. You're investing in a chance for those who have been overlooked. Don't think of it as charity, think of it as an opportunity to redefine what success looks like." There was a moment, just a brief heartbeat, when the air shifted, the weight began to lift. A few nods broke the silence, hesitant but telling. Instinctively, Marcus extended his hand to the community he fought for, his voice steadier than before. "What we can achieve together goes beyond numbers. Imagine, families thriving, children dreaming bigger and better. Your investment will ripple across the city. It's about legacy." "Legacy," the woman murmured, her brow furrowing in thought. Marcus watched her closely, hoping she felt the truth in his words. Hope could soar above doubt, and he felt that infectious energy dancing around him. But just as the atmosphere began to evolve, Marcus caught a glimpse of another investor leaning back, a smirk creeping onto their lips. "You really believe that, don't you? That this will make some grand difference?" He felt the slight jab pierce through his bravado. This was the moment, the one where self-doubt crept back in, whispering that maybe he was just a kid with big dreams. But instead, Marcus remembered his mother's laughter and the warmth of their community's spirit pushing him forward. "Absolutely," he replied with fierce conviction, refusing to let their doubt overshadow his belief. "If you give me the chance, I'll show you what that difference looks like, step by step. You will not regret it." The room quieted as they absorbed his words. He could feel the tension shifting again, maybe a crack in their armor. Then, the lead investor, still deep in thought, looked up at him, her expression unreadable. "We have one more question." Marcus's heart raced again. The final question could either be his salvation or the door closing. He half smiled, leaning in. "I'm ready." As she opened her mouth to speak, a sudden crash echoed from the hallway. The door burst open, and in strode a figure Marcus recognized instantly, a young boy from his community, eyes wide with excitement, clutching a small piece of paper. This was not part of the plan, and Marcus froze, the energy in the room shifting dramatically. The boy was beaming, innocence radiating from him like sunlight breaking through clouds. "We need you, Mr. Marcus," he declared, and in that moment, all eyes turned toward him. Would this unexpected interruption steal Marcus's chance, or would it unveil a deeper connection that could sway the investors? The boy stood there, confidence spilling out with every word, and Marcus felt a pull in his heart. What would happen next? Marcus felt a moment of panic. The meeting, the investors, his carefully crafted pitch, it all hung in the balance. But then he looked at the boy again, standing tall in his faded shirt, clutching the crumpled paper like a trophy. "What is it?" Marcus asked, lowering his voice slightly, as if he was pulling the boy into a world that was teetering at the precipice of something big. The boy's eyes sparkled. "I got the whole neighborhood together. We all signed this letter to support your idea. We believe in you, Mr. Marcus. We need this." For a split second, the chatter of the investors faded. All that mattered was the beaming face of this child, encapsulating hope and determination. The boy unfolded the letter, revealing a collection of scribbled declarations of support from the old folks to the kids, each name a testament to shared dreams. "Look." He pointed, "See how many people care about this. My mom, she said it's more than just an idea. It's about our future." Marcus's heart swelled at the words. His mind quickly swooped over the scene, the tired faces of parents working late, the laughter of children playing in the streets, the dreams scattered among them like dandelion seeds. He turned back to the investors, hoping they could feel the gravity of the moment, the power in the boy's words. "This isn't just a business plan," he said, voice raw with emotion. "This is about real lives, real spirits. You're not just looking at numbers, you're looking at a community ready to rise. The lead investor's expression softened slightly, tension easing. It wasn't just skepticism he saw now, there was curiosity blooming, and perhaps a hint of understanding. "Marcus, what are you actually offering?" she asked, her eyes narrowing, but without the edge they held before. "Tell us precisely what we're investing in." He steeled himself, ready to reveal the core of his vision, the community center that would serve as an incubator for ideas, a space where dreams could be nurtured. "We will create not just jobs but opportunities for mentorship, for learning, for real growth. This isn't charity, it's empowerment. They will build futures, not just survive." The room was filled with tension again, but this time it felt different. Marcus's words hung heavy, charged with potential. The boy's voice chimed in, innocent yet commanding. "Yeah. We'll all help out. We want this place to be ours." A murmur spread among the investors. They glanced at each other, weighing the weight each name on that letter carried. "What's the first step?" the woman asked finally, her voice revealing a crack of interest. Marcus felt the spark of hope ignite within him. "We'll begin outreach programs next month. If you decide to invest now, we can have the framework in place to start before summer. The community is ready to back this. They need only a launch pad." He didn't know if he was convincing them or summoning the right kind of faith. But the boy still stood there, firm as a lighthouse against a storm, and Marcus felt that he wasn't alone. The lead investor shifted, glancing at the others. The boy's enthusiasm seemed to have melted some of their reservations. As a few of the investors scribbled notes, he caught sight of the boy, wide-eyed and hopeful. The moment felt electric. Then, surprisingly, the door opened again, a rush of air sweeping through, drawing their attention. A burst of laughter and chatter filled the space as more community members flooded in, interested to see what was unfolding. Would this overpowering display of unity tip the scales back in his favor? Marcus could hardly breathe, anticipation clawing at his insides. "Let's make this happen," he whispered to himself, "more than just a becomes of a dream but a commitment." But just as Marcus felt the past inch away, he caught sight of one familiar face stepping into the room, and it brought a knot back to his stomach. What if this adversary had arrived to dismantle everything he'd built? Would this be the test of his resolve? The atmosphere shifted instantly when Marcus spotted the figure standing just inside the door, Margaret, a fierce advocate for local businesses and an outspoken critic of his plans. A slight woman with fiery red hair, she had a reputation for tearing down proposals she deemed hollow. He felt her sharp gaze pierce through the crowd. Fear coiled tight in his chest as he watched her scan the room. Would she raise doubts? Would she flip his fragile momentum into chaos? "Marcus!" she called out, loud and clear, making everyone turn. "I'm glad to see all these faces here, rallying for what you've dreamed up." A small part of him wished it were genuine kindness rather than the usual challenge when she approached. He braced himself, uncertainty boiling in the pit of his stomach. "You're getting ahead of yourself," she said, her voice dripping with both critique and curiosity. "Is this really feasible? What do you have planned when the dust settles? How can you guarantee this won't just become another forgotten promise?" Her questions echoed through the room, igniting whispers among the group. For a moment, the supportive energy began to wane. The boy beside Marcus looked up, confusion etched across his face. He had been so full of hope but now seemed to suffer from the weight of doubt. Marcus took a breath, steadying himself. "Margaret," he started, but she held up a hand, signaling she wasn't done. "I'm not here to tear you down, Marcus. I want to know how this will truly uplift the community and not just create false hope." The boy's eyes shone with unshed tears, the words hitting him hard. Marcus felt a rush of anger. How could she not see the potential right in front of her? But there was something deeper too, a fear of failing this community, of not providing what they so desperately needed. "Let me show you," he said, softening his tone. "If you're willing to help instead of just critique, we can do this together." This can be a launching point for everyone involved. A flicker of surprise crossed Margaret's face, but the skepticism remained. And what will happen when it gets hard? Who will keep the faith when the numbers don't align? Marcus locked onto her gaze, hoping she could sense the passion rolling off him. This is bigger than numbers. I have a plan for mentorship, for skills training, and community involvement. We will all rise because of one another. I'd love for you to help lead some workshops, to guide this process. The room was silent, tension hanging thick as everyone absorbed his words. Slowly, murmurs of agreement began to ripple through the crowd. I can't promise it will all be smooth, he continued, but I can promise we will work hard, together. We'll tackle each challenge, just like any family would. Margaret's expression softened, if only for a moment. His plea was sincere enough that she couldn't brush it off entirely. Okay, Marcus, she said, still weighing her words, but I'll need to see figures and accountability. You'll need to be honest when the struggle hits. The boy took a small step forward, his little fists clenched with determination. I believe in you, Mr. Marcus. We all do. In that moment, a new wave of support rose, branch-like, through the air. People began to nod, voices chiming in, boosting one another's encouragement. The tide was turning. As Marcus looked at the renewed energy in the room, a flicker of hope ignited in his heart. This was bigger than just him, it was a collective promise. He could feel the possibility filling the air like warm summer rain. Yet just as the growing positivity illuminated the space, the door cracked open again. This time it was a newcomer, a mysterious figure clad in a suit, their face obscured by shadows. What were they bringing to this already intense gathering? Anxiety bubbled just beneath the surface of newfound hope. Could this unexpected visitor present an opportunity or another roadblock? Marcus felt his heart race. What was this new presence poised to unleash? The newcomer stepped into the light, revealing a man with sharp features and a confident posture. He was older, his face weathered yet powerful, radiating a sense of authority that sent ripples of unease through the crowd. Marcus's heart thudded in his chest as he tried to decipher the expression hidden behind those dark glasses. Who is that? Someone whispered from the back. The air thickened, shifting again, as members of the community exchanged nervous glances. Marcus felt the pulse of uncertainty return. Marcus Williams? The man asked, his voice rich and commanding. I've been hearing quite a bit about your project. Very ambitious. Marcus took a step forward, heart pounding louder than before. Yes, that's me. And you are? Victor Carlyle, he replied smoothly. The man who might just hold the keys to what you're trying to build here. The murmurings grew louder, excitement mingled with skepticism. Victor wasn't just any businessman, he was a known figure with deep pockets. But as with many things that spark hope, there was a lingering question of intention. Are you here to invest? Marcus asked, a mix of hope and caution lacing his words. I'm here to listen, Victor replied. His gaze glided over the gathered community, gauging their reactions. I want to see if this initiative is worth my time and capital. But I must warn you, he continued, the sharpness in his tone returning, I won't throw money at a sinking ship. Margaret crossed her arms, her eyes narrowing. And how do you plan on ensuring you're not making a grave mistake? By listening closely to what the community needs, Victor replied, his demeanor unyielding. Money is merely a tool. What truly matters is the foundation, a plan built on honesty, accountability, and commitment to the people. Marcus felt a rush of adrenaline. This was the moment he had asked for. He had mere minutes to communicate the heart of his vision, an ecosystem of support, empowerment, and growth. He looked at the crowd, then back at Victor. We're not just looking for funding. This community is filled with potential. This project is about creating a space where everyone can thrive, sharing their skills and resources. I want you to believe in their strength. Victor's eyebrow quirked, intrigued. What makes you think they'll stick around? You need to keep them engaged, even when it gets tough. You know that, don't you? I know, Marcus replied, feeling the tension in his shoulders release slightly. And I'm asking them to believe in us. Together, we share responsibility. Failure isn't an option, we're family now. The boy beside him stepped up again, the fire in his eyes matching Marcus's own. We're strong enough to hold each other up. A wave of agreement rolled through the crowd now, echoing the boy's determination. Victor watched, the glimmer of intrigue deepening as the atmosphere shifted once more. Impressive sentiment. But emotions won't pay the bills, Victor said, the challenge clear in his voice. You'll need a solid business plan. Show me numbers, projections, what you'll do when the going gets tough. I want to see your strategy for sustainable growth. Marcus gulped down the lump in his throat. This was at the moment to rise to the challenge. But lingering doubts clung to him like shadows. Would he be able to pull it all together? With the crowd buzzing behind him, he nodded. I can do that. But we also need your guidance. I may have the ideas, but we need connections and experience to make them real. Together, we can pave this road. Victor remained silent, studying Marcus as if weighing his worth in the great balance of opportunity. The growing uncertainty in Marcus's gut fought against the newfound hope he had just sparked in the community. Was this an unexpected blessing or another hurdle to navigate? The stakes felt sky-high now, and the pressure began to morph into something else, a driving force. What if he could turn this moment into the breakthrough they all needed? Just then, Margaret stepped forward, a look of resolve on her face. I'll help him, Victor. If we're honest, this is our chance, not just for finances but for collaboration. We have to give it a shot. As the room erupted in murmurs of agreement, Marcus felt a flicker of courage brew within him. Could it be? Could they carve out something extraordinary together? I promise, he said firmly. Just give us a chance. But Victor's next words hung heavy in the air, draping over all the hope like a shadow. Then let us see if you can deliver. Don't let me down, Marcus. Marcus's heart raced. Everything depended on this next step. What lay ahead could break or define him, and he'd have to fight to ensure it was the latter. As tension and anticipation charged the room, he wondered, could he truly transform doubt into undeniable success? And what risks would this venture entail as they walked this uncertain path together? The room was electric, pulsing with a mix of hope and anxiety. Marcus felt like he was standing at the edge of a cliff, peering into the unknown depths below. He returned his gaze to Victor, whose dark glasses hid any flicker of emotion. He had issued a challenge, and Marcus was determined to meet it head-on. Let us get to work then, Marcus said, his voice steadying. We'll show you that this community can be a pioneer, a model for others. The excitement rippled through the crowd again, but this time it was laced with resolve. People leaned in, their expressions hopeful but wary. Victor nodded slowly, taking a few steps further into the gathering. I'll give you 1 month, he stated, his voice sharp. You'll need to get your business plan ready, and I want to see that you can really engage the community. Channel that energy you all just had. The weight of his words settled over Marcus like a blanket, heavy, suffocating, but oddly comforting in its clarity. 1 month. It felt like an eternity and just a moment all at once. He had no choice but to turn this opportunity into something tangible, and the pressure fueled him. Margaret brushed Marcus's shoulder. We can do this, Marcus. We've got to break the project down into manageable pieces. Get people involved. Let us harness that energy. They believe in us. Marcus turned to the crowd, and a wave of confidence washed over him. He needed to ignite that belief as long as Victor was watching. Listen up, everybody. This is our chance. We have 1 month to create something that can change all our lives. His voice rose above the crowd, stilling the murmurs. Everyone was looking at him, their expressions a mix of determination and uncertainty. We need to gather ideas, draft a rock-solid plan, and present it to Victor. Each one of you has talents and skills that matter. We can unite and build something exciting. Who's in? I'm in, shouted a woman near the front, barely able to contain her enthusiasm. So am I, chimed in another voice. One by one, hands shot up, the stirrings of a team rallying in the face of challenge. Marcus felt a spark ignite in his heart. This was what he had dreamed of, a community united with a single purpose. As they began to brainstorm, ideas flowed like wildfire. Some envisioned workshops, others suggested pop-up markets to showcase local artisans. They debated how to create educational programs while stirring the neighborhood's economy. Victor stood back, observing quietly, his expression inscrutable. But Marcus felt his presence like a looming shadow, pushing him to create something that could withstand scrutiny. Every proposal the group generated was scrutinized by both Marcus and Victor as they weighed its potential impact. Hours passed, and the initial excitement began to wane, fatigue creeping into voices. The community members exchanged weary glances. "We need a break," someone finally voiced, a ripple of agreement following suit. Marcus took a moment to collect himself, pacing near the edge of the room. His thoughts raced. Every moment felt precious, and he couldn't afford to falter now. He needed to focus on the stats, the practicalities. How would they form goals? What would bring Victor back to the table with genuine interest? Lost in his thoughts, he barely noticed when Victor approached, perhaps sensing the collective uncertainty. "Marcus," he said, lowering his voice. "You understand it's more than just a plan on paper. It's about vision, passion, grit. If you can show me all of that in the next few weeks, you'll have my interest." The words sparked hope inside Marcus, but beneath it lay an undercurrent of fear. What if he failed? What if the mountain he was climbing turned out to be insurmountable? "Together, we can make it happen. I know we can," Marcus replied, his voice rising above the uncertainties. He looked into the eyes of his community members, drawing strength from their glimmers of hope. As they regrouped, planning continued, but doubts lingered on the periphery of Marcus's mind. Could he truly inspire his people and turn that into solid action? And would Victor's interest turn into genuine investment, or was he simply toying with their hopes? As the team began to disperse, they carried their excitement but also their fears into tomorrow, a day that could break or build them. The question loomed larger than ever: would they be ready when the time came to prove what they could achieve together? The days that followed felt like a whirlwind. Marcus woke up each morning to the bright sun streaming in through his bedroom window, but the warmth didn't always bring comfort. His mind raced with strategies, potential pitfalls, and the weight of the looming deadline. Each night, he would fall into bed exhausted, but even as he closed his eyes, anxiety gripped him like a vice. At the community center, the atmosphere shifted. What had started as excitement morphed into a simmering pressure. Margaret took charge of organizing meetings, posting schedules, and rallying volunteers. She exuded determination, and her unwavering spirit bolstered Marcus when doubts crept in. "Remember, we're in this together," she said one afternoon as they sifted through stacks of papers that held their ideas. "Every great success is built on persistence. We've got to keep that energy alive." Marcus nodded, but inside he felt the gnawing fear of failure. Could they really pull this off? He glanced around the room, noting the faces filled with hope. They believed in him, and that belief was both a blessing and a burden. Meetings became more frequent. They gathered to iron out details, drafting proposals and hashing out budgets. They divided tasks based on each person's talents, igniting a sense of purpose among the volunteers. Carla, known for her event planning skills, suggested a kickoff festival to showcase the community's ideas. "This will show Victor we're serious. Let the world know what we're capable of." As they turned the idea into a plan, Marcus discovered a renewed spark within himself. He couldn't just sit back. He needed to be at the forefront, leading from the front lines. This was his chance to rally the community and show Victor that they were more than just a collection of ideas. They were family. Days melted into nights, and with the month's deadline creeping closer, the stakes began to feel insurmountable. Marcus found himself sitting alone in the center late one evening, the glow of the overhead lights casting a soft halo over his scattered notes. He stared at the whiteboard filled with ideas, dreams, and numbers, a chaotic tapestry of ambition. The silence was deafening, and as he mulled over the plans, the weight of responsibility pressed on him like an anchor. What if they fell short? What if Victor looked at them and saw failure? Just as anxiety threatened to drown out his resolve, a familiar voice broke through the quiet. "Hey, you've got this," Margaret said softly as she entered the room, bringing with her a renewed sense of energy. "Look at what we've built together. We just need to shine and show those ideas to Victor." Yeah, but what if she held up a hand? No what ifs. Just possibility and potential. Remember that wall we ran into when we started brainstorming? We broke through it together. This is just another wall. Her fierce determination sparked something deep inside him. The fire in her eyes ignited his own, and he felt a resurgence of hope. You're right. We've fought this hard. I can't just let doubt take over. Exactly. We still have time. Focus on what you can control. Let us remind everyone why we started this in the first place, she replied. As they worked together late into the night, Marcus rediscovered clarity in chaos. They connected the dots, piecing together a narrative that wove their proposals into a unified vision. The energy was palpable, and laughter floated through the air, mixing with their fervent discussions. But even as Marcus regained momentum, the gnawing question shimmered just below the surface: could they really show Victor their vision and passion, or would the opportunity slip through their fingers at the last minute? And as he hit the bed, mind churning from what lay ahead, he knew tomorrow would be the defining moment of their journey, a moment that could either bring triumph or heartbreak. His heart raced. Would they rise to the occasion? The morning dawned with a crispness that cut through the remnants of Marcus's restless night. He woke to the sound of birds chirping outside, but the usual melody felt distant today. As he got out of bed, a mix of anxiety and anticipation fueled his steps. Today wasn't just another day, it was the day of the kickoff festival, the culmination of all their hard work. The community center buzzed like a beehive. Volunteers scurried around, setting up booths and hanging banners that proclaimed their vision. The vibrant colors of the decorations offered a stark contrast to the doubts swirling in Marcus's mind. He paused to take it all in, feeling both proud and terrified. We're really doing this, he whispered to himself. Margaret appeared beside him, her hands full of documents. Look at that! She exclaimed, motioning towards a group setting up chairs. Can you believe how far we've come? I can't, his voice trailed off. The weight of expectation lingered heavy in the air. What if no one shows up? What if Victor thinks it's not enough? Stop, she said, planting her hands firmly on his shoulders. You've got to shake off those doubts. Remember how we built this. It's about our community, our stories. Everyone's rooting for each other. That's what matters. He looked into her eyes, finding reassurance in her unwavering faith. The way she believed in them ignited a flicker of hope deep within. Right. We can do this. This is for us. With a newfound resolve, Marcus took a deep breath and dove into action. He moved from booth to booth, offering encouragement and a smile. As he chatted with volunteers, he could see their excitement, their determination. It filled him with energy, pushing back the anxiety that had felt like a tidal wave moments before. As the crowd began to arrive, Marcus stood at the entrance, welcoming families and friends with warmth. Children ran past, laughter illuminating the air like sunshine. He felt a swell of pride, they were all part of this moment. Each smiling face reminded him why they had started this journey. Then, amidst the laughter and excitement, a familiar silhouette caught his eye. Victor Thompson, their business mentor, had arrived. His presence meant everything. For a moment, Marcus felt paralyzed. This was the man who held their futures in his hands. But Margaret squeezed his arm, jolting him out of his reverie. Now or never, she encouraged, her voice steady. With her support fueling him, Marcus straightened his back and approached Victor. "Welcome. I'm so glad you could make it." Victor glanced around, taking in the scene. "Looks promising," he acknowledged, a hint of a smile on his lips. But his expression quickly returned to serious. "Let us see what you've got, Marcus." The knot in his stomach tightened. Was he ready to present? Shaking off the nerves, he led Victor through the festival, showcasing booths where community members passionately shared their ideas. Each corner teemed with creativity and a fierce sense of belonging. Yet, as he finally stood before Victor, ready to unveil the main proposal, doubt clawed at him again. What if Victor didn't see the value? What if their dreams shattered right in front of him? Just as he was about to speak, a loud cheer erupted from behind them. Marcus turned to see a crowd gathered around Carla's booth. She was enthusiastically explaining their vision, capturing the attention of everyone nearby. The electricity in the air was palpable. This was at the heart of their community laid bare. Marcus turned back to Victor, a new fire ignited within. "Let us take a look at what they have to say," he said, his voice steady now. "You need to see the passion behind these ideas." As they joined the crowd, a sense of unity enveloped him. In that moment, he realized that this wasn't just about him or the proposal, it was about the collective dream of a community. But when Victor's eyes met Marcus's, an unexpected silence settled between them. What could Victor possibly be thinking? Would this day seal their fate or open the door to something new? And as Marcus navigated through waves of hope and fear, one thought remained: the moment of truth was approaching. What would Victor decide? The energy of the festival buzzed around Marcus like a current as he led Victor through the sea of supporters. Laughter and excitement filled the air, but they also felt the tension mounting. Would Victor respond to this palpable passion? Or would he remain distant, wrapped in his business acumen? "Look at them," Marcus said, gesturing toward a group of kids painting banners with vibrant stories of their dreams. "This is our foundation. When you invest in us, you invest in more than a project. You're investing in lives that need hope and opportunity." Victor observed silently, his brow slightly furrowed as he absorbed the scene. Marcus's heart raced. Would Victor understand? Would he find the vision worthy? After a few minutes, they reached Carla's booth, where she was animatedly discussing a mentorship program with a few prospective volunteers. Marcus watched as she passionately laid out ideas for fostering skill development in their community. The light in her eyes was contagious. "This is incredible," Victor finally said, a hint of admiration creeping into his voice. "I see genuine interest here, people eager to participate. But will this enthusiasm transform into sustainable action?" "We will make it happen," Marcus replied, his voice even stronger now. "This energy can't be contained. It's growing, and it will drive real results." Just then, the boy who had burst into the meeting earlier, a vibrant face full of hopes, approached, holding a colorful poster filled with signatures. "Look, Mr. Marcus. Everyone believes in you," he exclaimed proudly. Marcus knelt to the boy's level, warmth flooding his chest. "This is what it's all about. Together, we can do remarkable things." Victor observed the scene intently, and the corners of his mouth twitched upward. But then his expression turned serious again. "I need you to develop a comprehensive business plan," he said. "Show me how each idea translates to financial sustainability beyond today." "I understand," Marcus answered, determination surging within him. "But this project is rooted in community spirit. We won't just be chasing profits, we will be building the future. I'll show you the numbers, but I promise you, the heart will drive it." As the festival unfolded around them, conversations flourished, and hope soared higher. The community members brainstormed, shared thoughts, laughed together, blending their ideas into something greater than individual ambitions. "Let us hold a community meeting next week," Margaret suggested, excitement in her voice. "We'll present everything, and we can enjoy a shared meal after. Bring everyone in to feel invested." "I'll help coordinate," Carla chimed in. "People need to see progress and we want them to feel the momentum. It's about creating ownership." The buoyant energy swelled as they rallied together, fueling Marcus's confidence. This was the family the community needed, an alliance forged on dreams and determination. Through the day, Victor's demeanor softened as he continued to observe. Initially cautious, it turned to intrigue. The boys' laughter, families embracing, all of it melded into a vibrant tapestry of hope. He witnessed the sincerity of a community that wouldn't just stand by, they would rise together. At the end of the day, as the sun began to dip low in the sky, marking the close of festivities, Victor took Marcus aside. "Look," he began, his tone more collegial than before. "I'm impressed. You've built something here, something special. But you are right, we need to outline every step. Craft a detailed proposal, and let us take it to the next level. I want to see if we can make this partnership work." Marcus's heart soared. It felt like a lifeline thrown amidst turbulence. "Thank you, Victor. We won't let you down." With newfound purpose, Marcus took in the scene around him. This day had been just one step, but they forged a path forward together. The festival had been a showcase of resilience, laughter, and dreams shimmering like stars above Chicago's skyline. The community had lifted him high, recognizing the strength threaded through their unity. Marcus left with a full heart, knowing this was only the beginning. The road ahead was still uncertain, filled with challenges left to conquer, but this moment sealed a promise, one of hope, connection, and collective strength. He smiled as he envisioned them walking towards a brighter tomorrow, one where not just he but each member of the community could thrive. But the urgency of action remained. So as you stand witness to this transformation, don't wait another second to be part of our story. You need to subscribe now to catch every exclusive update on our journey. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now, feed the algorithm that nourishes our vision. Comment below with what this journey means to you. Share your thoughts and feelings about this story, it matters. And most importantly, share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't hesitate, not even one more second. Together, we can reach new heights.